Problem number 9 is a writing problem. It asks us to explain how you know if an ordered pair is a solution to the system of linear inequalities given a graph. And so we know that, we've seen that in our previous problems, where the solutions have to be in the region where all of the shading overlaps. For problem number 10, we are going to have to go backwards. We are now given a graph and we're asked to write the system of linear inequalities that is represented. So we are going to have to determine the inequalities that represent each of these lines. Let's go ahead and label one of these as number 1 and we will start working on it. So I'm going to use pink for line number 1. I notice that it's dashed. That's the first thing I notice. I also notice that it's a vertical line. If it's a vertical line, I know that I'm going to have an x equals something. There is no y in the mix because I don't ever even cross the y-axis. What is x going to equal? It looks like x is going to equal 2, but remember this is an inequality, and so I need to pay attention to where the shading is. Instead of equaling 2, it's going to be less than 2 because the shading is going to the left where the numbers are smaller. So I can say that x is less than 2 as my first equation. Let's go ahead and pick a second equation. We'll do this one. And so number 2, I also notice that it's a dashed line and that I'm below the line, so I know that I'm going to be a less than on this one. Let's go ahead and determine our slope and our y-intercept. My y-intercept, my b, is at 0. Let's go ahead and determine the slope now. If I start here at 0, I'm going to go up 1 and over 1, 2 before I land back on the graph. So that tells me that my slope, my m, is equal to rise over run 1 over 2. Let's go ahead and write our inequality based on that. Remember that we were dashed and below the line, so it's going to be a less than. Y is less than 1/2 x plus 0, but we wouldn't normally write the 0, so that would simplify to y is less than 1/2 x. I'm going to go ahead and put boxes around these so that we'll know that those are our final solutions. All right, number 3, the last one. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. It's dashed, but the shading is above the line this time. So I know that I am going to be using a greater than symbol. Let's determine our y-intercept, and that is at -2. So b is equal to -2. Let's look at m. My m is negative. We are going down 1 and then over 1, 2. So we have a negative 1/2 slope this time. All right, so we can go ahead and write our slope-intercept form of our equation then, or our inequality. It's y is greater than, because we were above and dashed, -1/2 x minus 2. We can't use Desmos to generate these inequalities, but we can certainly use it to double check and make sure that the inequalities match the graph. So let's go graph these in Desmos and make sure that it looks good. Here we are in Desmos, and I've got my 3 inequalities. We've got the pink one, vertical line dashed at 2. And then we bring in the blue one to create a purple shaded region. And then finally we bring in the green one and create that kind of dark green area. Looks like we've got it right.